Right, this is a quick review of a reasonably rare pistol now. It's an original Saxby and Palmer. Not original as in the name original, but they were made by Saxby and Palmer and then taken over by a company called Brocock. They're now illegal in the UK, as far as you cannot buy them, sell them. You can only own them on a firearms certificate, even though it is an air pistol. For those of you that aren't in the UK or are not aware, there were some unscrupulous little yobs that were converting these to fire live ammunition. I have been told by my local firearms officer that the original ones, which are the Saxby and Palmer, the frame and the cylinder is a real blank, or was a real blank of a real pistol, and all the Saxby and Palmer done was fitted a blank barrel and then machined it to whatever caliber they wanted to. This is a 177, so it's .177. You could get a .22 caliber as well in various guises, stainless steel, Magnum lookalikes, long barrels, and they even done in the early days some 303 Lee Enfields that were modified to take the Saxby and Palmer air cartridge. Now, if it's going to focus or not. That is a Saxby and Palmer air cartridge. As you can see, it's got a striking pin at the back, firing pin, and what you would do is you get the cartridge and take the end off, which holds the pellet, which is that, and you put the pellet in facing that way, and you push it on top of the cartridge. I can do that without it falling over. And on the early ones, these are a push fit. That just pushed in, and that was ready to go. Obviously, before you put the pellet on and the cap, you'd have to charge the cartridge with air. I've never taken one of these apart. I understand they're reasonably complicated inside with lots of little O-rings and little striker valve. But you'd have to charge it. Now, when I bought this pistol, actually it was bought for me probably about 20 years ago as a Christmas gift. You had to charge it with what was called a hand pump. That opens out like that, and you keep on pumping it. But I think it was about 6 strokes of the pump to get a full charge on this particular air cartridge. And you would, I can't find the brass cap at the moment, but basically if I can hold it with my knees, you would get the cartridge minus the cap which would hold the pellet. You'd have a brass holder that this would fit in. You would then put it in there, screw the holder in, holding the cartridge in place, and that would be in there then. Then you'd pump it up, and then when you crack this, you'd hear a little bit of air release, and that would be the cartridge full. You then take it out and charge them all up individually, each one in there, pump up. They did make an adapter so you could put 5 or 6 cartridges in at once and pump it up, and there were other ones where you could charge it with air from an air cylinder, but this is the only one I had. I was reasonably young at the time, and it was a fair old exercise to pump 10, 12 cartridges up. This pistol only had its chamber for 5 cartridges, so that's all you had shots wise. These ones I ordered later on from a place in England, actually after they were banned, but you could still buy the cartridges, and the heads that hold the pellet unscrew and then come off, but it's the same principle, but they charge from the front, I believe, rather than these ones, the original ones that charge from the rear. They haven't had much use. When the ban come in, what you had to do, if you wanted to keep hold of these, police had an amnesty where you could hand them in, and that was about it. I don't think you even got any compensation for them, you just handed them in. All because of these idiots that were basically making a 22 LR cartridge fit into the cylinder of the pistol. If I can open it with one end. Yep, there you go. So basically they'd make a blank out of steel or something or other, put that in this chamber, and then put a 22LR in the middle of that, and they'd hope that that would line up with the barrel. And they were doing, I don't know, bank jobs and stupid things like that, probably shooting each other as well. You couldn't do it with this because obviously this is a 177 caliber and you can't get live rounds in 177, and 17 HMR wasn't about at the time when this all kicked off. Like I say, if you've got one in England anyway, you would have had to get a firearms license, or if you had a firearms license already, have it put on a firearms license to be able to keep it. Otherwise, once the amnesty was over and you didn't have a firearms license, you were breaking the law, and as the law stands, any firearms contraventions, you get up to 7 years in prison. So if you had one that's not on a ticket nowadays, and you were caught with it, you could do 7 years prison. Like I say, they did do some rifles, not just like 303 live firers that are then adapted to take these air cartridges. They did do some out and out of their own air rifles that took slightly bigger cartridges than these, slightly longer I believe, and they held a bit more charge, so you had a bit more power out of them. Pretty accurate actually from what I remember. I haven't shot this for probably 10 years. I'll just change hands so I can operate it properly. It's got a double action, so you just squeeze the trigger and it will fire there. It rotates the cylinder, and it's got a single action, so you cock the hammer and just squeeze the trigger. The reason the chamber or chambers have had the side milled out with them originally, before the law changed, I understand it was so that you could distinguish that it wasn't, well, if you knew what you were looking at, it wasn't a real gun, so that you could see the cartridges on either side. I think that's the real reason why they've done it, but obviously it can aid in seeing if you haven't loaded it fully, or if you've left odd and even out. Like I say, it's quite a weighty piece, but then as I understand it, or I was told, it was a real pistol blank that's been machined to take the Saxby and Palmer cartridges. You can probably look up on Google or something like that, Bing, whatever, Saxby and Palmer UK. Brocock are still going as a company, but they don't manufacture any air cartridge pistols or rifles anymore. It's all just PCPs or break barrels. But Saxby and Palmer went under and were bought out by Brocock. But because it was a gift to me, I didn't want to hand it in, and as I had a firearms license, I decided to put it on there and keep it. But just in case you haven't seen one of these, that's what it is. Like I say, you can get chrome ones and dirty, hairy ones, and snub nose ones, inch and a quarter or inch and a half barrels. I honestly can't remember how much they were when they were new. I'm guessing about £250, £300 maybe, for the pistols at least. So there you go, that's my little pistol that doesn't get any use anymore. I don't even think the seals in the cartridges will probably hold air anymore, because you have to drop a little bit of oil in each one every now and again just to keep them lubed up. So there you go, a little bit of history, and I don't know, I haven't seen many around, relatively rare now, because I believe quite a few of them were handed in and disposed of. But for the guys that haven't seen one before, or have heard about them but never seen them because you don't see them in magazines, there you go, a revolver, air pistol revolver. Any comments or questions, drop us a line. Thanks.